You know, Sheikh, I don't know if you remember this, but we met around 12 or 13 years ago. Okay. And it's very funny because I remember the first ever conversation we had, right? We were in GPU and Al Maghrib UK London hadn't started, but I knew that I was going to be part of the original team there at that time. So I came over to you and had a little, we had like a couple of sentences, I think, right? And it's quite interesting because at that time, I had just started, I'd been a salesman in Xerox for a few years, and I was telling you about the psychology of selling, right? Because most people, they don't know this stuff, especially like, you know, Medina graduates, right? They don't know about this marketing stuff and everything. And I remember having this discussion with you, right? And I was like, I'm going to like try and tell the Sheikh how marketing works, right? So we had this discussion, and then you started saying some stuff about marketing. And I was like, wow, okay, that's very interesting, right? And now, like, when I look back at it, I feel quite like ashamed that I was trying to teach marketing and stuff, because for me, like, when I look at Al Maghrib, if I was to like pinpoint one of the biggest successes of it, I would say, Alhamdulillah, that marketing and knowing marketing has been a massive, massive part of the success. So I just wanted to kind of delve into that a little bit as to like, why is marketing so important to you? Why do you think you made it such a big deal for Al Maghrib?
So marketing, I think the year was about 2001, kind of like at the beginning, the start of, even before I launched the Maghrib Institute, I was just in the idea phase. And there was a brother, African-American, elderly brother in the community in Maryland. And he said this word marketing. And I actually, until then, I kind of heard that word before, but I didn't really know what it meant. So after I heard him say this, I went to the bookstore, the local bookstore in College Park, Maryland, and I went to the marketing section, and I found this book called The Immutable Laws of Marketing. And, you know, I think it was even on sale. I took it home, and I basically, every chapter that this is the law of marketing, I would say, well, how can I apply that to this idea that I have from Maghrib Institute? Next chapter, how can I apply this? How can I apply this? I'm taking notes on the side and whatnot. And actually, kind of like a side point, you know, the secret or one of the key ingredients is not necessarily that I read this book, but I used to always read books. So actually, book reading is also one of the key secrets that when I learn something, I like to go and research it, find a book on the topic, get through the book quickly, and figure out, you know, kind of like embrace this kind of the knowledge of that book. And then, yeah, and then I kicked off Al Maghrib. That book came at the perfect time, that everything that Al Maghrib was built on marketing principles. And at that time, Inshallah ta'ala, I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me the ajr for kind of like the shift that happened in the dawah, because I started really putting quality into making posters, making the design. I realized that a lot of the flyers that would go out for Islamic events were just information, you know, it wasn't really marketing. It was just like it was a, you know, like at this time, at this place, it wasn't really marketing, or wasn't. So I said, you know what, if McDonald's has the best marketing for their burger and we have Islam, we don't package it and people don't see it except in ugly papers of, hey, we got a halakha and this is the time and place, and the photocopies, if you remember, there's a black line on this ugly Xerox photocopy. and I'm like, Islam deserves better than this. So just kind of an extra point that when we did those first Al Maghrib posters, there was little kids. I was at an Islamic school, and I was sitting in my office and listening to kids look at the poster, and I heard little children, Muslim kids, say, "I'm so excited for this class. It feels like a movie's coming to town." And in my heart, I'm like, Alhamdulillah, that I was able to get that kind of excitement towards people studying Islam.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I think it's amazing, and I think that those of us that are a little bit older, maybe we understand it, but those that are, you know, a bit younger now, like they can't imagine what it was like. Where literally it was like, you know, you just have very simple information kind of things where it would just show you when an event's happening. I mean, even the kind of video trailers that Al Maghrib did in the early days, like revolutionary stuff. And it's funny because now when I walk into masajid, I remember I messaged you about a year ago. I walked into this masjid and I just saw this poster there, and I was like, this is a poster because, alhamdulillah, like people like yourself had basically higher standards when it came to Islam and actually saying, look, this deserves much more. So I think it's amazing that, alhamdulillah, you did that and you played your part in that.